There are so many Axies to pick from on Axie Infinity. Which are the first three you should buy? There are a whole bunch of videos on YouTube about which Axies to buy for the arena, for breeding, and I've basically watched all of them, made a strategy, tried it out, it worked for me, so here's my conclusion. First of all, welcome to my channel. I'm Aaron. I'm going to be talking about Axies quite a lot in the following weeks, especially as I just started the game and I find it very, very interesting. So if you are also interested in Axie Infinity or perhaps are even playing the game, I would strongly advise you just smash that subscribe button, hit the bell button, because anytime there are going to be any drastic changes in the game, I'm going to post a video. Which I think is very important because basically things are happening every single day. Like for example, the cutting of the SLP that you can earn within adventure mode. These are things you need to know immediately as the price of Axies can drop, which has happened. So like I said, hit that subscribe button. Should these changes happen at 11 PM, I will be there and have a video out 1 hour later. So.
Time is ticking.
All right, let's get into it. So when you're on axieinfinity.com and you go to Marketplace, on your top left corner, you'll be able to see the Axies. As you can see, we have the Beast, Aquatic, Plant, Bird, Bug, Reptile, and then we got the 3 secret classes. I mean, they're not that secret, but it's the Mech, I think, or Mech, I'm not sure, which is basically a breed between a bug and a beast. So if you breed a pure bug and a pure beast, you have a chance to get a mech or mech. And with the dawn, it's the same thing, only this is a breed between a plant and a bird. And with the dusk, you guessed it, with a reptile and an aquatic, okay? So these are the 9 Axies available. Depending on your goal, you should pick the best Axies for you. So first, I'm going to start out with Axies for the arena, which are the best for the arena. Then we will get into which are the best Axies for breeding, which is a little bit more lucrative. And lastly, I'm going to explain how I did it, because I kind of use a combination of both of those things. So let's get into it. For the arena, you're going to want to have a balanced setup. So like a tank in the front, a plant-based Axie in the front, a beast in the middle, and like a bird or reptile, aquatic in the back. The reason for that being is that the plant-based Axies have a lot more health, but aren't that good in attack. And the beasts are okay on health and pretty okay on attack as well. And for example, a bird is very low on health, but very strong on attack. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a second. And when we have them in a formation, we're going to want to have a tank in the front so our bird can last as long as possible, be shooting its shots while the tank is basically putting his health up front. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So here we have a tank, a plant-based Axie. As you can see, we have 61 health, 31 speed, so pretty slow. They usually get to attack last within the round, and skill and morale. And now look at the cards. These are pretty standard plant cards, as this is a pretty pure plant. You can see 110 shield. They're all big on shield basically, and not that big on attack. Let's go take a look at a beast, which I would put second in line in an ideal setup. You can see lower in health, definitely lower in health, faster, and a lot higher in morale. Now look at the cards. You can see they're lower in shield, higher in attack, okay? So let's take a look at the bird. Here we have a bird 27 in health, so horrible in health, but very fast. And let's take a look at the cards, and I think you can see the point I was trying to make. Very low in defense, but high in offense, okay? So that's the setup that I would do in the arena, and I'll show you in which formation right now. So here we're inside my Axies Infinity account. Here are the 3 Axies that I am using for my team. I will explain that in just a moment. I'm gonna go and take you into the formation that I am using for these Axies. So here you can see I have my 2 tanks up front and I have my beast in the back. So basically I can let these 2 tanks take the hits and use my beast for pretty good attacks. Now I will show you the best Axies for breeding in my personal experience. Like I said, I watched a lot of videos. I've looked through the market for countless of hours. So I think I've got the gist of it. 90% of all teams have a plant-based Axie in the front. So that's definitely the way to go if you want to start. Start with plant-based Axies. Now, if you don't know this, breeding gets more expensive by the breed count. Means if you take an Axie that has 0 breeds on them, do the first breed, it will be more expensive on the second breed and even more expensive on the third breed. So usually, in my opinion, it doesn't make a lot of sense anymore after the 4th breed, as you can breed until 7 times, perhaps even until the 3rd. You always need to check the market to really calculate if that would be economic or not. So I have now put in a plant-based Axie. When we're talking about breeding, then pureness is very important. If you're looking for something just for the arena, pureness is not that important. It can be, not necessarily. Breed count definitely is not important. So as we're looking for breeding, I'm going to go here on the 6 on pureness, and I'm going to take my breed count to 0. Wow, those really went down. When I bought them, this was starting at like 600 to 700. So definitely went a little down because of the update in the game. So anyway, we're going to look for something above 90%. Let's take a look here. This looks quite okay. As a matter of fact, I would prefer to put in a couple of body types that are that are very popular at the moment. For example, hot butt. Let's go with serious. Rosebud is very good as well, but serious. Cactus. This is what I use when I bought mine. Okay, and we're still gonna go with pumpkin. With high defense. So there we go. We're going to look for something like at 90% or above. This looks quite okay. Now, what's very important to understand is, first of all, you've got your dominant traits. By the way, if you cannot see this, when you hover over here, just go on Google Chrome and download Freaks extension for Axie Infinity. It will allow you to see all these informations right here. So you got your dominant, receptive 1, receptive 2. Dominant is most important. Receptive 1, if you're breeding, is also very important. Receptive 2 is not that important. Now, you also got to understand the different body parts. The first 2 from the top means in this case, confused and clover and receptive 1, poppy and larva, is not so important. It does not really affect the cards that you get to deal with in the game. It's just like the eyes and ears or something. I think it's just optical, so that's not so important. As we can see here, we got 2 impurities within the receptive 1 gene that are important, as they're in the last 4, so that is not as interesting as it seems. Let's look at this one. Also 2, but the bird. For the arena, this would be interesting for me, but for breeding, I would say no. This looks a lot more interesting already. Let's look if I can. Let's look through all of them. and see. This one also looks pretty good. No. See, this has 93, but look at it. You know, this one of 92 is a lot better in my opinion. So this is one that I would buy, for example. I like this one. You could go on this one and pick two that are very close to each other. You can go on Axies zone. You can go on the breeding simulator, and you can actually put these Axies into the simulator. So, for example, I want to check this Axie right here. Just click on that shortly. I'm just going to copy the code, and I'm going to put it inside the breeding simulator. I'm going to go ahead and go back and copy the code of another Axie. That was pretty okay. I think it's this one. I like this one, so I'm gonna go ahead, click on this one, copy, and input that into here as well, and just hit breed a couple of times. Like to press advanced mode here, it gives you a little better overview. So this is basically what you could get. Yeah, you can here breed a couple more times. This is what you could get if you buy these two and you breed them together. I find it looks okay. And what you could do, of course, is look for an Axie that is identical to this, put it in the marketplace, look what you could get for it, look for the costs of breeding this Axie, and then calculate and be the judge yourself if this would be lucrative or not. In my opinion, it definitely would be, especially with the prices that you can get on right now. So yeah, this is the type of Axies that I would advise you to choose. So what I did basically is I bought two plant-based Axies, which were pretty pure, which I bred 2 times. And I bought a very cheap beast, as I did not want to really invest more into the game at that point. I put a cap at 3,000 euros. I'm in Germany, so I'm spending euros here. And I really didn't want to spend over 3,000 euros. So I bought a very cheap beast. It's hurting me in the arena, I'll be honest. It could really be a lot better. I wish I would have bought a bird if I think about it now. But I didn't have me to tell you what to buy. So if you want to take my advice, get 2 tanks and get a bird. You can get a beast, but get a better beast than I did. I really got the bottom of the bottom, you know. So you can get a beast. Beast is fine. I would suggest a bird. Get a good bird. Invest just that hundo more, and it will definitely pay off, as you'll be earning more SLP per day. So that's basically it. Like I said, if you enjoyed the video, hit and smash that subscribe button and that bell icon. So when I release new videos, you will be the first to hear. Thank you very much, and we'll be seeing more of each other soon.